to the Mother Freedom Show. I am your host, Emily C. Bunrang. In today's episode, I thought it would be an awesome opportunity for me to do a solo recording, a Ask Me Anything. So I put up on my Instagram story for y'all to submit some questions. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so the first question is, what's your process in overcoming fear? My process in overcoming fear is, well, a long time ago, I read a book by Oprah, and I forgot the name of it, but I remember her saying that fear itself can't hurt you, right? The thought of fear, of this fear that I have, can't hurt me. And so that kind of something clicked there for me. Yeah, understanding that fear is just a thought. And I know it's like there's so many contexts with that, like overcoming fear, because there's the abstract idea of fear, like I'm about to go on stage to talk or to go teach a class. And I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. I have this fear once I get on stage that I'm going to mess up. With that, in that context, it's like, you just got to do it. You just got to get into the trenches and do it. So yeah, diving into something that can be scary or fearful. There's no way around it but to do it. And so I'll just give you an example. Like when I was teaching classes as a personal trainer, I was interning at Cody's gym, and every morning he would lead the warm up, and I was scared every morning that he was gonna say, hey, like, do you want to do it, or it's your turn to do it, because I didn't feel confident yet, and I was so nervous. And I would prepare and practice as much as I could, but as much as I would like practice at home and even like practice how I would cue, I was just so nervous until there were lots of moments when he's like, here, you're going to be leading the warm up today. And I would just be shaking. But it took so many times to get it down. And now I feel so confident doing it. So in terms of that, overcoming fear is to just get right into it. And now another context in overcoming fear could be like in birth or during pregnancy. Like, what if my baby comes out with a defect? Or what if things don't go the way I want it to go? So with that, definitely acknowledge the fear, find where it's truly coming from. When we think of fear also, we're thinking about the future and being anxious of what the future could bring or when the future comes. So I think just staying in that present moment, what is true now, what's happening right here, like in terms of pregnancy and birth, there is no hard evidence that my baby has a defect or that my birth is going to go completely the other way around, right? It's completely unknown, and that's future thinking. So I think just staying in the here and now and what is true for right now. So it's like, I don't feed the fear in that, because I feel like we can manifest whatever could possibly happen if we put our energy towards it. So that's kind of my process. I hope that helps. Okay, question number 2. Where can we see the birth video? Unfortunately, I do not have a birth video where Bjorn's like completely emerging out of my vagina. We have 4 minutes after giving birth where I hold him in my arms. The umbilical cord is still pulsing. You can see that on my Instagram. That's where you can see it. Question number 3. Did you poop when giving birth? Now, this is a completely valid question because I anticipated that I would be pooping. And so we got a big pack of baby wipes right next to me, but I actually didn't poop while I was giving birth. And I kept asking Cody, as my body was pushing, I was like, is there poo? Is there poo? But he's like, no, there's no poo. So I didn't poop. I actually had the urge to poo, and I sat on the toilet and still no poo, but I did throw up many times. So that was my purge. Question number 4. Did your feet swell during pregnancy? My feet actually didn't swell. And I definitely was observing it when I would sit on the toilet. I would look at my feet and there was no swelling. I'm a big salt person, learning the benefits of salt. I have just been, people would think that the way I salt my food is like crazy salty. So every time, during pregnancy, I would just season everything with salt because I know how important it is to have salt in general, and especially in pregnancy as well. Question number 5. What led you to free birth your baby? What led me to free birth my baby? I want to backtrack a little bit. The free birth seed got planted in my head when I heard a podcast. Yolanda Norris Clark of the Free Birth Society was interviewed on my brother-in-law's podcast, a lifestylist podcast with Luke Story. And when that interview, the episode came out, Luke texted me and Cody and he was like, hey, check this episode out. And so I did. And this was like a whole year and a half before getting pregnant. And I was listening to it in the car when I was living in LA, driving to a client's house. And I was like, oh my God, like this is possible. Like, I don't need to have a medical professional there at my birth. Like at the time, I always knew I wanted to have a home birth. But yeah, and it blew my mind. And so fast forward to me getting pregnant, I don't think I connected the dots exactly because I was still asking around about midwives. I was researching midwives. And the big thing that clicked for me was when I bought the complete guide to free birth, when I got pregnant, I learned that anyone in my birth space can interfere with the birth process, with how I labor, how I give birth. So when I learned that, I immediately was like, yeah, no way am I going to have another person there. I only want my husband there because I want the most optimal environment and I want everything to go the way it's supposed to go without any kind of intervention or energetic interference. And that's what led me to decide to free birth my baby. And to get a little deeper into that, yeah, someone in the birth space, even if it's like your mom, can affect the hormonal blueprint. And when I say hormonal blueprint, that means the oxytocin flowing to begin the contractions, and being undisturbed and unobserved and in a very comfortable setting is so essential to allowing physiological birth to happen and unfold the way it should. And that was what I wanted. Question number 6. What was your biggest takeaway from your birth as a mother? Realizing how powerful, how amazing birth is. Birth is truly a rite of passage. The transformation that I felt and went through is just something that you can't get from anything else. It's a very special opportunity. And coming out of it, it's just, I can't even really put words to it. I would just say my biggest takeaway is just feeling the power of birthing my baby. From start to finish. How did you navigate negativity from friends and family? I navigated negativity from friends and family through, it was hard. I found myself really trying to persuade and educate them. And after a few attempts, it was kind of like, hey, like, this is not my place to do that. If they want to research more, they can. They're going to be conditioned a certain way, and it's not my job to have them think otherwise. So I created distance between them and disconnected myself, and having my supportive husband with me and us talking through it, what we were going through, really helped. Yeah, so eliminating the negativity, like not even allowing it to come into the sphere. How did you prepare for your free birth? Well, logistically, I mean, I knew I wanted to give birth upstairs in the bedroom. That day when my waters opened, I had Cody, deep clean everything, stock the fridge, and put our workout mats around the bed. And so, yeah, logistically, that's how I prepared for my free birth. I made sure I got lots of towels because I had a friend say, make sure you get a lot of towels. So I made sure we bought cute tribal looking towels for pictures. I mean, in terms of preparing like mentally, it was just reading so many books, so many stories on unassisted home births. In the description, I will put down my favorite books that I just constantly read, even reread. Also, purchasing and going through the complete guide to free birth helped a lot, and learning and understanding how rare it is for a true emergency to occur. And me knowing that I am like so healthy, I didn't think anything could or would happen. I didn't give that any thought. Question number 9. Anything you do differently in pregnancy, birth, and postpartum? Yes. So, well, in pregnancy, I would have taken more photos, more photos of my pregnant body, and probably not if I were to look back and turn back time, perhaps I wouldn't have excitedly shared that I was going to free birth my baby. What I would do differently in birth would have been to video record Bjorn's emergence, because we missed that part. Taking a lot more beautiful photos of our Lotus birth. So pretty much like a whole birth video, and documenting like from day one when my waters open, and explaining how I was feeling and all that stuff. So I think I would have done that differently. For postpartum, I would have stood firm on giving myself the integration with me and my baby and Cody, us as a family, to giving 40 days between me, my baby, and Cody to integrate this new chapter, this new moment that was going on in our life. I would have not opened my heart to allow my mother-in-law to come 3 weeks later, but I may have also had my mom instead come on day 1 to take care of like all the postpartum things, like feed me, do the laundry, clean the house, just so me, Cody, and baby could integrate together as a family. To me, we think, oh, like my husband, my partner can do it all. So I think it's important to not put the pressure, or to not have that as your partner and husband's role, and letting that role come from someone else, because this is a big moment for him too, for all of us as a family. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, and I don't think I thought it would be, because I think men and women we're completely different in how we do tasks differently. So yeah, so I think that's why we could say no visitors on the first 40 days, but maybe you do have that one helper that isn't really interfering between mother and baby and husband. So I guess when we say no visitors for 40 days, you can see what that would look like for you. Maybe you may not have a visitor who's visiting you, but someone to take care of the house. So like a postpartum doula, a birth keeper that takes care of everything postpartum. So I think that would definitely be an option. Or laying down the ground rules. Like maybe you have some close friends who do come by, and you say, come by between this time, but don't come into the room. Do the laundry, right? Take initiation. So I think that's really important to verbalize what you need, and plan that out for postpartum. And there was a day where it was day 7, and I like broke down and cried. Like I didn't eat for like 7 hours, and I had wished that my mom was here, and I didn't have, warm foods, which is something she definitely would have made. So yeah, I did not prepare for postpartum, and that's what I would have done differently. Question number 10. The hardest part of motherhood so far, being present, being aware and mindful that in this moment, like, hey Emily, like you're not being present right now. Like you're on your phone or you're trying to get some work done. Like your son is tugging on your pants. Can you put everything down and take a moment to really be present with him? And when I say hard, it's not like frustrating hard, like I don't want to be present kind of hard with my son, that everything else can wait. My favorite part of motherhood so far is witnessing this tiny human develop day by day and seeing the changes that he's going through, like physically, mentally, emotionally. As much as I'm looking forward to him being able to talk and speak his emotions and what he wants, the fact that he can't speak and communicate with me in that way makes me really focus on trying to understand what he's trying to say to me. And I think that's my favorite part, is to really be in tune with my baby. How do you find your community? Where I would start, I'm fairly new to where we live. It's been about 2 years and it's a very small town. I think for me, finding my community was just going to, little events that they have at the farmers market or little music events, going into the, organic health food store, popping in, saying hi, taking time to make conversation with people you're vibing with. And I think that's how you can find your community. And you can also attract your community perhaps by holding women's circles or inviting people that you vibe with for a little barbecue, getting to know them on that level. So that's in-person community. As for virtual community, I mean, I know there's so many like communities, circles, and groups out there, but maybe finding your local Facebook group community online and start talking there, or joining online communities and then connecting with women personally on a personal level, like if you vibe with them, which is what I actually did. Like I took the Radical Birth Keeper School and currently I'm in Wapio's course. And so I would just privately message these women that I vibed with and was able to connect with them on a deeper level by phone and text, and taking the time to participate in conversation and chiming in. So yeah, making sure to find a online community where these women share similar values and beliefs and way of life. I think that's important as well. So that's how I found my in-person and virtual community. Can you speak on how you prepared your body for conception nutrition wise? I mean, for the past 5 or 6 years, I have been eating an animal-based, nutrient-dense diet and not having processed seed oils. And of course, I was living in LA at the time, and I would have the occasional outing, which would mean I'm probably eating processed seed oils. But fast forward, when I knew I wanted to conceive, I gave myself at least 100 days. But because I was already eating an animal-based diet, like if you weren't on an animal-based diet previously, I mean, you want to start like now. If you plan to have a baby in 2 years, like just start now eating nutrient-dense foods. But for me, because I had that foundation, I just gave myself 100 days and I ate eggs every day. I really was adamant about not having any processed seed oil. So I was even more strict. And yeah, lots of eggs, chicken liver pate, no processed seed oils. I was drinking raw milk. Yeah, just lots of meat and animal fats. I also had EMF protection from my laptop. So I have what's called a Hara pad, and I never put my laptop on my lap. So I have this Hara pad that protects that. I have a Defender Shield iPhone case. I had a EMF Defender Shield belly band that I would put around my belly. I would have my phone in airplane mode. I also went completely non-toxic in terms of household cleaning products when we moved here. And I also stopped using any kind of unnatural toxic skincare products. And so I stopped using deodorant. Also, I do want to touch on this. If you are trying to conceive, it's really important to eliminate LED bulbs. So take out all the LED bulbs in your house, even if they're orange, because that still flickers. So changing out all your light bulbs and replacing them with incandescent light bulbs. And I can put a link below in the description, because light, especially blue light, impacts fertility and conceiving as well. Also, I would like to touch on Cody's nutrition preconception too, because it's just as important. The man holding the sperm, who's going to give you his sperm, is very important with his nutrition too. So Cody, like me, already ate heavily, like animal-based carnivore diet. And so I made sure he had eggs. We both took, cod liver oil pills, fermented cod liver oil pills. So yes, both the man and woman should be eating for conception, which means an animal-based, nutrient-dense, high-fat, good-fat diet. So eggs, animal fats, a lot of cholesterol, lots of meat, lots of steak. All right, last question. How is elimination communication and cloth diapering going? Well, Bjorn is almost 10 months and it's going really well. I do have a YouTube video. I think he was 3 months when I explained my setup and everything. I started, I would say maybe 1 or 2 months. I feel like in the beginning it is everything's kind of mumble jumble and it's hard to listen to his cues, but everything's going well. Like I take him to the potty when I hear a grunt, and he poops right in the potty. So it's very rare that he poops in his own diaper. It does help that I work from home and I'm home all day and I'm around him all day. And even when my mom came to visit, she got in tune with him and she was so amazed that he can go to the potty, and it's just offering it to him. So when he wakes up in the morning, take him to the potty. When he wakes up from a nap, take him to the potty, and it's just offering that to him. I'm enjoying it a lot. All right, so those are all the questions. For those of you who submitted a question, thank you for asking your questions. If you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to answer them. If you want me to make any other kinds of videos or cover any other topics in regards to nutrition, birth, pregnancy, postpartum, conception, fitness, just pop them in the comment section below as well. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.